there is hope on the horizon. Come December 22nd, the Sixers begin. And there's this new life of excitement. And one of the primary reasons for that excitement is on the line. Sixers president and GM Daryl Morey on the Comcast Business Hotline. Hey, D, how are you, Daryl?
Anthony, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, man, I got to tell you, have you noticed all the excitement surrounding your arrival?
I have. I think you guys are all just setting us all up for the downfall. Like you have the Eagles. Didn't the Eagles win the championship like 2 years ago or something? Or
2017, yeah, they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, how long do you get? Don't you get a few years after you win the title?
No! The short answer is no, Daryl.
Apparently not. I feel bad for Howie. Jeez.
I know.
They just won.
Yeah, this
you
doesn't
get 5
work
years.
that way.
You should get 5 years after you win the title, at least.
You think?
So, I don't know. You tell me, Anthony.
I don't know. Here's the thing. We care deeply, all right? And
I'm with you. I love it.
When you care deeply about sports, you just you want to win. You want to enjoy it, right? And
I'm with you.
You want to get, and this is the thing with these Sixers, right? So you've been primed with this whole thing. People were all about the process. You know all about it. They were all in on it, and so when your arrival signifies this new breath, and I think right off the bat, your first off season, how swift it was I got to fix the spacing. And I think you accomplished it. I think, was that your first aim? Let me start with the spacing on the team?
Well, I think you don't really know what's going to be available. So I often think if you go in with, we have to do X, you miss out on opportunities. But for sure, Elton and I, when we were planning, we were like, look, we know that Ben and Joel, plus shooting and spacing, just kills people. I mean, you don't need evidence. You just need to look at the recent past. And so, yeah, that was a big goal. We didn't go in saying we have to do X, but, if this was one path that we were hopeful could emerge, and thankfully it did.
Did you go into it thinking that, or resisting any temptation to do anything major, huge, because of a couple things? One, you want to see with your new coaching staff. You kind of want to see what you got before you do anything.
I mean, it was pretty huge. I mean, what's huge? Jeez, Anthony.
No. Believe me, it was big. I guess I was intimating. You hear all that. I don't need to be.
Yeah, we got to get rid of that noise. Ben and Joel, we're building around them. We know with shooting and spacing, they're dominant. Yeah. And we're excited about that. And
I'm not going to Daryl. I'm not going to BS you. So people all right away. Well, what about Harden? What about this guy? What about that guy? So you hear all that stuff, and you know that there's not a lot of It's not realistic. I
think Sam he emerged from his groundhog hole like he does once every 4 years, and he said it best. He said, "Look, fans went through the process to get these two guys. Why would people want to move off that? I know we don't. I know fans don't." All the fans I talk to love Ben and Joel.
Believe me,
they're both
I agree with you.
Two superstars in their mid-20s. I mean,
I know,
that just never happens.
I know. I completely agree with you. So let me ask
There's
you.
a reason Doc's here and I'm here. Let's just be clear. And so.
No. I'm with you. Let me ask you about Tobias for a second, because I think Tobias has some extra room for his game to grow. And he plays so well with Ben. And I think that was one of his issues against Boston in the playoffs. I was just curious about your outlook with Tobias, because we don't talk a lot about Tobias as that third guy.
So here I'll just yield to Elton and Doc. So Doc's coached him. Elton obviously knows him better than me. But if you look, when he's played the role that Doc's going to have him play, or at least he's planning to have him play, sort of a mix of 4 and 3, he's been unbelievable. So I yield to them. You don't really know a player till you coach him or till you see him every day. But I would say I know Tobias has all the aspects that we need with shooting, being a big one, and then he's an all-around solid player. And we're excited for the role Doc's going to give him. So
there's one thing that I think people are still a little concerned about, and we'll see whether or not it can be fulfilled in-house, and that is when you really need a bucket, right? Come the end of the game to stave off a run or take that big shot, and it's a face-the-basket guy. You got you got some options, right? You got Tobias. You got a guy, I know you can't mention him, but maybe a guy like Danny Green that's hit big shots in his life. Do you ever foresee Ben with the ball in his hands in that role?
I do. I would say, look, we don't know what we have exactly. Obviously, new coach, Doc, championship, likely Hall of Fame coach, when it's all said and done for him. We're going to learn about this team. And again, I said this in my opening presser. I think teams make a mistake trying to we have certain bullets. We have tax mid-level. We've got still future draft picks. We have certain bullets that we can use, and I don't really like using them now. I just don't, because in a month we're gonna the issues we see now, like maybe the one you said is one of them. It's going to be a different set of issues in a month. I mean, a month into the season, I almost guarantee it. We're going to say, oh, that's not quite working, or end of games isn't quite working. And if we use the bullets now, like, we're going to use them on the wrong ones. That when the information is more clear as we get closer to the trade deadline and places like that. So I think that is definitely what I like to do is sort of evaluate and then address the gaps as we get closer to the playoffs.
And that's the beauty of the deadline, because the deadline allows you that opportunity to kind of tweak and kind of get what you need, and you got a lot more maneuverability during that period anyway.
That's correct. Yeah, no, we the one nice thing about the moves is it set us up to be, less constrained in a whole bunch of ways, so that we can address whatever Doc thinks is the highest need on the team as we get gearing up for the playoffs.
Let me just say this. Congratulations, by the way. I should have led with that, but it really was a very, very good offseason. People are thrilled and they're excited. And, I didn't want you to think that people weren't happy about it.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, I think our goal isn't to win the offseason, right? Our goal is to actually win. So, I'm watching the Eagles and I'm like, man, these guys just won the championship and they're all over them. So, I think I love big expectations. One of the many folks in Houston, went to various teams. I think 5 or 6 are run by former Houston. And one of them is at a team that hasn't been in the playoffs in like 25 years. So, that's different expectations than here. I mean, here, I love that fans have high expectations. I love that we've got 2 great stars to build around. I love that we've got a great roster to work with and a Hall of Fame coach. So, I mean, I'm it's amazing. I appreciate you saying kind things about what Elton and the staff did here, and that's better than bad. But, like, at the end of the day, it's just about, let's prove it on the floor when the games start.
No, and if I said there's only one prerequisite here, right, which is besides the winning aspect, and sometimes execs, you can't, be completely forthright. We understand. But don't treat the fans as they don't know anything, right? Like, that's always something that rubs people the wrong way, is when you BS them. And you're a straight shooter, so...
Yeah, I'm almost too straight to shoot. I just get myself in trouble all the time. Elton's already trying to take away my Twitter account. So Elton told me you're good people too, so he was excited. I was on today. So.
He's such a great guy. I'm so excited to have you guys all together. And man, this coaching staff is
real strong. Doc did such a job putting it together. Yeager's, someone we got real close to hiring in Houston a few times. He lost out to Coach D'Antoni the last time, and Dan Burke is one of the legends. And honestly, Doc's the first one who ever got to figured out how to pry him out of Indiana. He'd been there through like 4 different coaching regimes, I think. So I mean, we're going to build an elite defense. I know Doc's planning on that. Be a more up tempo, get more easy buckets on offense, and let's go. I mean, I wish December 22nd was here tomorrow. So,
what'd you think of the draft? I love Maxey, man. Were you shocked that he was there, 21?
Well, shocked that he was there. Yes, I'm not shocked that someone was there. I mean, there's always different evaluations. What'll happen sometimes? The guy like Maxey is, the group in the 6 to 12 range or whatever studied him heavily, and for whatever reason chose something else, maybe team need, and then often, the teams right after haven't studied him as much, so then they get into sort of a slide situation. But in terms of what my best sense of what the Sixers needed, and talking to Doc and his evaluation of the roster, Maxey was like the perfect fit for what we needed. So we were thrilled. He was by far the highest guy when we picked, and and then we got shooting and in the second round, and I'm actually real excited about Paul Reed as well.
Yeah.
It's very rare the 58th pick hits. I mean, we've had I've had real good track record in the second round, but still the odds are very low for every team in the second round, that low especially. But look, he's coming in with a chip on his shoulder and a really good pedigree. And so, I think he's, he hasn't played a game yet. Everyone's got a chance right now.
I know.
Everything's perfect.
I know. Well, it's true. But listen, it's like Maxey, right? Because I don't think if there is no pandemic and there's a tournament, chances are maybe, you don't get Maxey, right? Because you never know what happens during the tournament. But I thought having a guy like him maybe next to Ben at some point, he grows into that role, who can handle it and gets his shot better. It's a perfect fit.
We're confident on his shot. Obviously, we're confident he'll put the work in. We're confident that what he showed last year wasn't his true level. I'd be very surprised if he's, not, at least making 1 out of 3 of those things, which is really better than pretty much, any other shot inside the arc. So, we feel good about his shot, and besides that, there's really nothing. And that's actually a big reason, maybe why he fell, is people just, it's like that. If something's 9.99, it looks better than if he had made 1 more 3, I think it'd have been 30.2%, so 29.7. I think that might have been 5 spots, and why we were lucky. So. Yeah, it's sort of dumb why certain things happen. We try to take advantage of those things.
Do you go into everything with this, because you give off this air of, I just need to think it out. So I got to be pragmatic. I want to think about it. I make no judgments.
Yeah, I'm extremely pragmatic's good. Yeah, I would take that. Generally try to, just a general principle is push off decisions until you have the most info. People often make decisions too early when conditions are changing. And then pretty non-emotional on decisions, and then extremely emotional watching games, which is, Sam used to always make fun of me because I'd just be this basket case during games when I can't, because I can't control anything pretty much at that point. And so he would just make fun of me. Sam would be just sitting there stoic, and I'm kicking things over.
That's
and
awesome.
Walking around outside the building. I watched very few of our playoffs in Houston this year just because it was too stressful, and I'll watch them later on video. So it's a sad life I lead. Yeah. So.
You'll actually fit in. You're neurotic, so it's going to fit in perfect with us.
No, my
because that's
wife's
how
from
we
New
are.
Jersey. My wife's from New Jersey, and she knows Philly well, and she honestly sees you're just like every Philly person I grew up with.
It's the best. It's the greatest. Because you don't understand. The Sixers won in '83, right? And in '84, they got swept by the Nets in the first round. and they were down 2-0 in the series. They came back and tied it, and Julius said mail in the stats, and I still have not recovered from that loss because they were so good that I can't believe they only won one title.
So
I'm scarred from my childhood.
You know, around that exact same time, I got Brian Sipe throwing an interception to lose a play. I'm from Cleveland, so to lose a playoff game, I remember that firsthand. I remember Biner running into the end zone, and I celebrated for a minute until I'm like, why aren't the points on the board? And like, no one could actually see the fumble. No one could see the fumble, including me. So like that, these are. I mean, I'm a tortured Cleveland fan. So we're gonna all fit along, and we're gonna turn it all around. We got 2 champions joining the roster, and Dwight and someone else, and you know, we're gonna turn this around, and you know, all enjoy. I'll get rid of
it's gonna be fun.
the torture of our childhood. So,
do you like the song?
I do. I'm learning the song. I'm assuming it's going to be seared into my brain soon, but it's like 9/8 76ers
Play it. Good
or something. Oh no!
Get excited!
I only know the back end, the 10/9/8 76ers part. The first part, the 1, 2, 3 part, I'm still learning. So.
Yeah. Well, guess what? This is something you'll hear a lot of and you'll love. I got to tell you. Yeah, right? Come on, it takes us back to when we were kids. I love it. Daryl, listen, thank you, man. I got to tell you, we're so excited. So thanks for some time, and look forward to talking to you during the year and getting to know you. I mean, we're so thrilled that you came here.
Thanks, Anthony, and look forward to seeing you at a game when humans can do that again. Which hopefully is not too long. We'll find out. We'll find out soon. So.
Sounds good, brother. All right, remember, you got to be all Philadelphia now. All right.
What's that?
You're all Philadelphia now.
Absolutely, Philly. Thanks, Anthony.
See you, buddy. Take care.
See you, buddy.
Daryl Morey on the Comcast Business Hotline.
Anthony Gargano, weekdays from 10 to 2.